YouTube, what's going on? P coming back with another one. Let's get it. We're up at the football field. We're gonna talk some ball. We got another versus. Yes, round 13. Back on my DBs. Big, strong, physical, fast DBs. Antonio Cromartie, Aqib Talib. Yes, both of these guys, you know, over 6 foot. Antonio Cromartie, 6'2", 210. Aqib Talib, 6'1", 205, 210. So these some big guys. My big, physical, fast cornerbacks. Round 13 versus, we at the field. You know I ain't fumbling the rock. You know I love my DBs. Lock in. We at the field. We're going to talk some ball. Another versus. Round 13. Lock in. Before I start the video, please watch the entire video. Subscribe to the channel. See more content like this. Content about sports and various topics. Let's get it. Yes. Round 13. Antonio Cromartie versus Aqib Talib. You know I'm going to compare their intangibles, tackling, covering ability, playmaking ability. You know, we back on the DB, so let's start with Antonio Cromartie. Antonio Cromartie, drafted 2006 out of Florida State, 19th overall. Antonio Cromartie. Antonio Cromartie kind of came out of nowhere. This big, tall cornerback. We like, where he come from? Florida State, he's more so, still a great player, but he more so was like a project. Antonio Cromartie was like, where did this big, tall cornerback come from? You know, he didn't play much in college, Antonio Cromartie. But drafted 2006 out of Florida State. Antonio Cromartie got drafted to the Chargers. This is when they were the San Diego Chargers. Antonio Cromartie had a big season with the Chargers as well. 2007, he had 10 picks. He had 10 picks. That was the year he had the Odell one-hand interception against the Colts. Yeah, Antonio Cromartie had some big games. That game, he had like 3-4 interceptions against the Colts. Antonio Cromartie for the Chargers, when he played with the Chargers. Yeah, Antonio Cromartie bounced around a bit, played with the Cardinals, played with the Jets. Jets was his better years when he played with Revis. Antonio Cromartie also played a few games with the Colts, but he bounced around. Antonio Cromartie played 11 seasons. Fast cornerback, really fast cornerback. One of the few guys, Randy Moss was, you know, on the tail end of his career, but he was one of the few cornerbacks that could run, you know, stride for stride with Randy Moss. Because we've seen what Moss did to Darrelle Revis. But Antonio Cromartie, he was one of the, you know, few cornerbacks that could, you know, press Randy Moss and run stride for stride with him. Antonio Cromartie. Moss was, you know, getting older, but Cromartie had long strides, fast cornerback. Fast cornerback. A little background from Antonio Cromartie. Then we got Aqib Talib. Aqib Talib out of Kansas, 2008, 20th overall pick. Went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Aqib Talib, that's where he got drafted. Played some years there, then got traded to New England. His better years were in Denver. Aqib Talib, his better years were in Denver. Aqib Talib, 5-time Pro Bowler. Made an All-Pro. Both of these guys, you know, about four or 5-time Pro Bowlers. And they both made an All-Pro. That's why I feel like this is a great versus. Two big, physical, fast cornerbacks. So I feel like this was a great matchup. Great matchup for two cornerbacks. Like I said, Aqib Talib played a few years with Tampa, then went to New England. Better years were with the Denver Broncos when he played with Chris Harris. He played with Chris Harris, alongside Chris Harris. Then he played with the Rams, played with Marcus Peters, but like I say, his better years were with Denver. Aqib Talib played 12 seasons. Aqib Talib, 35 career interceptions. Antonio Cromartie had 31 career interceptions. Both of these guys can find the end zone. Aqib Talib, 10 defensive touchdowns for his career. Antonio Cromartie, 5 defensive touchdowns for his career. So both of these guys, like I said, they can find the end zone when they get the ball in their hands. So yeah, let's get into it. A little background on Aqib Talib. He was a Super Bowl champion as well with the Denver Broncos when they beat the Panthers. Yeah, a little background on Aqib Talib. Let's get into it. Get into some intangibles with these guys. Let's talk coverage. Man, it's tough. Both of these guys, they would gamble as well, but Aqib Talib, he was a little more disciplined in his technique. Like I said, both of these guys, they would gamble at times, but Aqib Talib, he was more disciplined in his technique. Strong, like to get hands on you. Aqib Talib like to reroute the receivers. He get hands on the receivers. Antonio Cromartie, he more so like to shadow you as a cornerback. Like he'll press you, but he wouldn't get hands on you all the time. He'll more so shadow you as a cornerback. He'll more so shadow you as a cornerback. But I give the edge to Aqib Talib because he could press you and he could play off. Aqib Talib. As far as his coverage, he could press you and he could play off. And he was a little more disciplined than Antonio Cromartie. Antonio Cromartie, he was a big gamble guy. He would go for that pick. But like I say, even when he would press you, he wouldn't more so get hands on you all the time. He would like shadow you, Antonio Cromartie. So I give the slight edge to Aqib Talib. Give the slight edge to Aqib Talib as far as the coverage. Now let's get into tackling. Tackling these two guys. Okay, Antonio Cromartie, he wasn't as physical as Aqib Talib. I'll just say that. I was gonna say these guys weren't, the best tacklers, but Aqib Talib, he was physical. He'll even punch that ball out, had 5 forced fumbles for his career, Aqib Talib. So he was physical and he will tackle, Aqib Talib. But Antonio Cromartie, he wasn't a big hitter. He didn't want to come up and hit, but he would tackle. He wouldn't come up and, lay big hits, but Antonio Cromartie, he would tackle. He would tackle. More so like an arm tackling guy, Antonio Cromartie. But Aqib Talib, he was physical. He could get physical. He'd punch that ball out as well, especially if he didn't like you. He had some good rivalries with Steve Smith, with the Panthers over the years. He had some, great matchups with Steve Smith over the years, Aqib Talib. So Aqib Talib, he was physical. He was. So I give the edge to Aqib Talib as far as, tackling. Now, if we get into playmaking ability, this is tough because some Antonio Cromartie, he had some of the best highlights as far as a cornerback. He had the 109-yard field goal return against the Vikings, had a one-handed pick to Odell, one-handed interception against the Colts. Antonio Cromartie could play a little kick return. They put him at kick return a few times. So he was definitely a playmaker, but when you break it down, Aqib Talib has 10 defensive touchdowns for his career. Antonio Cromartie only has 5. Antonio Cromartie has, a lot of amazing highlights, but Aqib Talib, he has 10 career defensive touchdowns. So I want to give Antonio Cromartie the edge as far as playmaking ability because on the highlight film, the 109-yard return, the one-handed picks, 3-4 interceptions in the game against the Colts. But when we really break it down, Aqib Talib, 5 forced fumbles for his career as well. Like I say, 10 defensive touchdowns, 35 career interceptions. Played 12 seasons. Antonio Cromartie only has 31 interceptions for his career. Still great. But I got to give the edge to Aqib Talib. I do. So it's almost a clean sweep. Even though it's real close in all the categories, it's a clean sweep for Aqib Talib. But Antonio Cromartie, he has the name, and he made some amazing plays. Like I say, that 109-yard field goal return, and the one-hand interceptions and things like that. But Aqib Talib, he was disciplined in this technique, a little more disciplined. It's physical. Like I say, he was a playmaker as well. 2 big, strong, physical cornerbacks. Round 13 versus had to keep the fire coming with the DBs. I ain't gonna fumble the rock, but let me know what y'all think. I give the edge to Aqib Talib. I love my DBs, so I call it right down the middle. But I give it a slight edge to Aqib Talib. But let me know what y'all think. Drop some down in the comments. 2 big, strong, fast, physical cornerbacks. So, I'm going to keep the fire coming. Had to bring a versus back. Been a few weeks. But I keep the ball talk coming. We're in preseason, a few weeks away from the regular season. So, I'm going to keep the ball talk coming. That's what I do. Yeah, comment, like, subscribe. That's where you can help share the video. Back on the DBs. Go knock another one out. Bah, bah, bah. Let's get it.